what's poppin'? Welcome back. And in today's video, we are tackling a somewhat controversial anime among the Beyblade fandom, Beyblade VForce. Beyblade VForce is the second season in the Beyblade franchise. The VForce in the name stands for V/V2 versions of the Beyblades introduced in this season. We'll get into the history of the show a little later, but before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss any updates. Now without further ado, let's get it. Beyblade VForce first aired on TV Tokyo in Japan on January 7, 2002, just 2 weeks after the original Beyblade ended. It ran until December 30th, 2002. Unlike its predecessor, which closely followed Takao Aoki's manga, Beyblade VForce introduced some original elements and expanded character backstories beyond the manga source. While Takao Aoki continued to be credited for the overall concept, the anime's production team took more creative liberties this time around, such as reimagined Beyblade designs and new opponents for the Blade Breakers. Despite the creators' enthusiasm for the season, opinions among fans and critics have been mixed. Some believe Beyblade VForce was overshadowed by the later season G-Revolution, and thus regard it as less impactful in the overall Beyblade canon. Others, however, praise it for its deep character development and new challenges faced by Tyson and his friends. It ultimately ran for 51 episodes. So, let's get into the story. When the Blade Breakers split up after winning the World Championship, each member goes in a different direction. Max returns to the United States with his mom, Judy. Ray goes back to China, and Kai disappears. That leaves Tyson at home in Japan, living a quiet life until a local supermarket hosts a Beyblade tournament where the winner gets to challenge him. A mysterious blader named Mr. X shows up and defeats everyone with ease. In the final match, Mr. X completely destroys Tyson's Beyblade, leaving him shocked. Soon after, Tyson learns that Max and Ray also met strange bladers on the same day, and they too lost with little effort. Even Tyson's classmate Hillary gets pulled into the drama when she becomes curious about Beyblading. Kenny, aka the Chief, studies Mr. X's Beyblade and discovers it holds an invisible bit beast that does not show up on scans. Tyson wants to regain his honor, so he fights Mr. X again. This time, Mr. X reveals his real name, Ozuma, and defeats Tyson once more. Tyson becomes frustrated because he cannot call out Dragoon properly during the battle. Meanwhile, two men in black suits watch from a distance, using high-tech gear that breaks down from Ozuma's powerful energy. These men soon target Hillary and Kenny, trying to kidnap them to get Kenny's laptop, which holds Dragoon's data. Tyson finds their hideout on a secret ship and battles a strong robot blader. He manages to free Dragoon from a special trap, saving Hillary and Kenny. But this experience shows Tyson that there are many dangerous enemies waiting in the shadows. The group behind this threat calls itself Team Psychic, led by a purple-haired man named Gideon and helped by a twisted scientist called Dr. B. They want to capture bit beasts like Dragoon, Drigger, Dronzer, and Drasil for their research. However, Ozuma and his group, the Saint Shields, also seem determined to either control or stop these 4 bit beasts. Tyson soon hears rumors about Kai. At his fancy prep school, Kai is being challenged by a mysterious blader who wants to bring him out of retirement. One huge fan named Wyatt even steals Kai's bit beast Dronzer for a match. Kai takes back Dronzer and finds new determination. Worried that Team Psychic might try to capture Kai, Tyson and Kenny hurry to warn him, but Kai shows he can handle himself. Some shady figure shows up with gadgets, like Magtrum, which creates a magnetic field to boost their Beyblades unfairly. Even so, Tyson and Kai fight together and defeat a Magtrum user named Snaky. Gideon makes things worse by luring the Blade Breakers to a remote island. Tyson, Hillary, Ray, Max, Kai, and Kenny arrive, thinking they will take part in an official event. Instead, they fall into another trap aimed at capturing their bit beasts. Each Blade Breaker faces a special opponent. Ray fights in near darkness, Kai on a narrow bridge, Tyson on a slippery ground with a hurt ankle, and Max against a chameleon-like Beyblade. Dr. B tries to seize their bit beast during these matches, but thanks to teamwork, the Blade Breakers escape. Mr. Dickinson, chairman of the BBA, and Tyson's grandpa come by helicopter to rescue them just as the base on the island collapses. Gideon and Dr. B escape, angry at their failure. Wanting a new plan, Gideon tells Dr. B to create cyber bit beasts, copies of the Blade Breakers bit beasts made from data on Dragoon, Drigger, Dronzer, and Drasil. Team Psychic recruits several young bladers who either crave power or are misled. One lucky blader is Wyatt. who ends up bonding with Cyber Dronzer and loses his sanity. Meanwhile, Kane, Selima, Goki, and Jim each receive their own cyber versions of the Sacred Bit Beast. But when they learn that Cyber Bit Beast can corrupt a blader's mind, they begin to question whether it's worth the risk. Eventually, the Blade Breakers are forced to face these new enemies in Battle Tower, Gideon's giant fortress full of illusions and traps. Each Blade Breaker has to climb a different floor, winning a Bay battle to move on. They fight enhanced forms of Cyber Drasil, Cyber Drigger, Cyber Dronzer, and the most dangerous of all, Cyber Dragoon, used by Kane. The Blade Breakers fight with courage and trust in the real Bit Beast, knocking down Team Psychic once again. Cyber Dragoon gets out of control, nearly bringing down the tower, but Tyson unleashes Dragoon's true power, destroys the cyber copy, and frees Kane. When the building starts to crumble, Gideon and Dr. B are killed, or vanish in the censored version. This signals the end of Team Psychic. Still, the Saint Shields watch from the sidelines, planning to seal away Dragoon, Drigger, Dronzer, and Drasil. After a few more battles, where Ray briefly loses Drigger, they realize the Blade Breakers are worthy keepers of these Bit Beasts. Ozuma warns that if a Blade Breaker fails at their duty, the Saint Shields will return. Just when it seems like they can finally relax, a strange rock is found in New York City that may hold ancient Bit Beasts. Judy, Max's mom, starts studying it for the BBA, but Zagart, an old colleague of Mr. Dickinson, reappears and wants to use the rock's power for an unknown purpose. He hires Dr. K to keep extracting powerful rock Bit Beasts from it, and soon Rogue Bladers appear with these strange new creatures, challenging the Blade Breakers. They even steal valuable data, putting the group at risk. In the meantime, Tyson meets a friendly blader named Zio, who admires him. Zio seems good at first, but after learning his father's secrets, he cuts ties with Tyson. It turns out, Zagart is Zio's dad, and Zio was built different, literally. But we'll get to that later. Zagart then orders Zio to collect the 4 sacred Bit Beasts, hoping to fulfill a dream that might make Zio truly human. Because this man is literally a cyborg that was built because the real Zio died, and Zagart has issues. Everything comes together at the next World Beyblade Championship. Mr. Dickinson sets up the event, and the Blade Breakers form 2 pairs, Tyson with Max and Kai with Ray. Other powerful teams also join, including a changed Kane and Jim, the Saint Shields, and a bold pair known as King and Queen, who are known for stealing top Beyblade parts. Tensions skyrocket when King and Queen sabotage other bladers or wreck their Beyblades. At one point, they even team up with Dr. K, who tries to use a beam weapon in the stadium, but King and Queen refuse to cheat and leave her. Zagart then forces Mr. Dickinson to allow Zio and his partner Gordo into the tournament, saying no one can keep them out. The brackets lead to major battles. Ozuma and Dunga face Zio and Gordo, King and Queen fight Miriam and Joseph, Ray and Kai face the other challengers, and Tyson and Max are set to battle Kane and Jim. However, King and Queen ambush Kane and Jim outside the stadium, destroying their Beyblades. That forces them to drop out. Kai and Ray then advance, but they meet Zio's fierce power in the semifinals. Gordo wins his match and Zio overcomes Ozuma, stealing his Flash Leopard. Then Kai battles Zio, only for Zio's Bit Beast Cerberus, taken from the rock to devour Dronzer. Kai feels terrible for losing his Bit Beast yet again. Over in the other bracket, Tyson and Max take on King and Queen. They expose Dr. K's cheating from above the arena. King and Queen decide to fight fair. Tyson and Max obviously win, moving on to face Zio and Gordo in the finals. Gordo then challenges Max first, and Orthrus almost smashes Drasil, but Max's willpower helps him keep fighting. Gordo loses, and Max vows to rescue Dronzer next. Zio then steps into the stadium and uses Cerberus, boosted by Dronzer's stolen energy, to beat Max and remove Drasil from his blade. Now it's all up to Tyson. In their final match, Zio confesses that he's an android created by Zagart after Zagart lost his real son. Zagart hoped that by gaining these 4 Bit Beasts, Zio could become human. Zio then fights wildly as his robot body starts to fail, pushing Cerberus to combine the powers of Dronzer and Drasil. Tyson struggles to land a single solid hit, but he refuses to quit. He and Dragoon blast through Cerberus copies, shattering its illusions. Dronzer and Drasil are released, and Tyson wins. Zio then collapses, upset that he will never be human. Tyson and his friends comfort him, saying it's a person's spirit and feelings that matter, not whether they have a human body or not. And Kai reclaims Dronzer, Max gets Drasil back, and Ray rejoins them with Drigger. Tyson becomes the world champion again, but the real victory is the friendship that ties them all together. Afterward, Zagart leaves, realizing his plan failed. Zeo must find his own path, aware that he's an android with human emotions. The Saint Shields, pleased that the Blade Breakers can defend their own bit beasts, depart for good, and King and Queen promise to stop stealing parts and grow through honest play, while Kane, Jim, Goki, and Selima travel the world to teach new bladers. At last, Tyson and his teammates gather to celebrate another championship, certain that Beyblading is more than a game. It builds friendship, tests courage, and unites the hearts of bladers everywhere. And that concludes Beyblade VForce. Honestly, I didn't think that this series was that bad. I actually liked the victory forms of their Beyblades, and I bought a bunch of those when I was a kid and ran them up all the time on my friends. Honestly, it was pretty cool, but I can kind of see when you compare this to other seasons why people might not like it as much. But the designs were pretty cool. With that said, like the video, don't forget to click the hell out of that bell button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.